Okay, so I want to talk a little bit to create breathing room in your life. And especially as an entrepreneur, especially when you are also a parent and you're working and you're doing all of these things, we have the tendency, especially I think those of us who are more creative and entrepreneurial minded, to like squash every bit. Oh, hey, Noah, I'm glad you made it. To squish like every bit of potential out of every moment. And so we literally compress all of the breathing space out of our lives. And I think about like a boa constrictor or something kills you, not because it eats you, but because it eliminates the ability for you to breathe. I have the tendency to do that, to completely fill every moment, to take on too much, to say yes to every possibility and every opportunity. And that has led to some really amazing things in my life. And it has also led to probably one of the scariest moments. Hey, I'm glad you made it. One of the scariest moments of my life, and that was in college. I was taking 22 hours. I had a double major, double minor because I was insane. And I was working 2 different jobs. And what I realized is that you can only run in the red for so long. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are joining. So feel free to ask questions. But one of the things, that's my kids calling me on the intercom. One of the things, speaking of breathing room, one of the things that I learned at church recently, our pastor was talking about the space between our current pace, that's how fast we're going and how fast we're moving in our lives, and our limits. And if there's a gap between that, then we're going to be in trouble and we're going to be running a deficit emotionally, physically, spiritually. And I think for a lot of us, when we don't have enough breathing room for long enough, our stress levels go up. It can diminish our focus. It can really diminish our just our ability to be present and to make those little magic moments happen in our lives. I know, I live in the country. My connection is terrible. And I tried to get on with my internet and it just wasn't cooperating right now. And I don't know how many of you guys like work from home and you have your own businesses, or you do stuff on this side too. Because I have kids, I'm the primary caregiver, and I homeschool, and they are one of my top priorities. My kids and my husband remain a top priority in my life, but I am now working full-time as a content strategist, and I just signed a book deal. And I have to have my part of the book done by August 1st in order for it to come out in February, which is when a lot of gardening books, do really well. So I think the thing for me is to realize, like, in this season of life, I can do that for a little while. I can do that in the summer while the kids are out of school, because I've given up something to make room for something else. And I think when we don't do that, when we push ourselves too hard for too long, we actually will miss out on other opportunities. I think it can make it hard to take advantage of those. This book deal that I just signed, I actually was emailed by the editor about a year and a half ago. So this was an opportunity that I've had kind of on the back burner for a long time. And I didn't sign that initial contract for a myriad of reasons, and one of which was just some points that needed to be negotiated with the advance and the number of author copies and stuff like that. Hey, glad you could join. But I didn't take the time until we moved to this new house. I had a little more space, the kids are a little more settled, and I had enough breathing room. Speaking of kids, here they come. This is the reality of working from home. What's going on?
Joel,
Have you guys finished picking up those things in the backyard?
Not yet.
Not yet. You want to take a lunch break?
Yeah.
It's 12:45. You can take a lunch break. Go ahead and make sandwiches for everybody.
Cereal.
No, have sandwiches. Cereals for breakfast. You meant to say yes, ma'am? Sandwich, yes. Thank you. This is what working from home actually looks like. It's not nearly as glamorous as in the magazines where like Photoshop happy people who never get interrupted. So, you know, the truth is I do what I do from home so that I can be present for those kinds of moments, so that my kids can always come to me. And as long as I'm keeping I hate the word balance, as long as I'm keeping the space that I need for those moments to happen, then I'm going to be healthier and I'm going to stay healthier. And when you have the breathing room kind of paid up, where you've banked on that, then you can push yourself for a little while. I know that I can write this book. I'm going to have about 6.5 weeks to write it. I know that I can do that. I know what I want to say. I know how fast I can work. I'm not homeschooling the kids during the summer so that I can get this project done. And I'll finish it. I'll turn it in August. I'll take a deep breath. We'll go out for a weekend trip with the family, and then I'll be able to jump back into some of those other things. And so I would encourage you, if you are working from home or trying to start a business on the side, and so maybe you've got 2 jobs and you're really like, you have your main job that pays the bills, but you're trying to build this entrepreneurial thing on the side as well. I would just encourage you to examine where those margins are in your life, and are you leaving enough of a margin that you can say yes to an exciting opportunity when it comes, or you can take advantage. Right, so actor Jess says, I have a home business, a blog, and do direct sales. Crazy busy moms. That's right. And it's very much a juggling act. And there is no balance. It's kind of just paying into each aspect. And I posted on Facebook this weekend that my kids were coming with me to church during our music practice time. I sing in the worship band sometimes, about every other Sunday. And a lot of times, if I go early to practice with them and my kids have to come with me, what I find is that I'm much more distracted because that mom part of my brain never 100% shuts off if the kids are present and I'm kind of like their person. And so I think that myth of like balancing and, you know, having mom time and having you time and having business time, I think it's a myth to think that it's only one or the other at any given time. And I think we do ourselves a disservice when we promote that, because when we say, oh, you should be able to have, only you time. Well, you can do something that feeds your soul and feeds your creativity, even if the kids are around, or even if you can't get away for the weekend, or even if you can't do a girls' night out right now, or even if there's all these other things going on in your life. I mean, we're in the middle of moving, so things are insane. I have boxes everywhere. But I said yes to this book deal because the timing was right, and because I had built up some breathing room margins in my life by pruning out other things that weren't moving me in the right direction right now. And sometimes I have to turn down amazing opportunities because it's not going to fit into my life. And I refuse to run in the red any longer. I made that mistake in college. It literally almost killed me. It took me a year to recover. I was so sick. I weighed under 100 pounds and my hair was falling out, and I couldn't stay conscious for 24 hours. I would try to go through a day and I would pass out. So you can do that for a little while, but you can't do that forever. And if you build your lifestyle like that, you're going to suffer, and you're going to be unhealthy, and you're going to be unhappy, and the people around you are going to be miserable, and you're going to implode your marriage, and you're going to make your kids mad. So I really do encourage you to look at your life and see where the areas are that you need to create some breathing room, and think about creative ways of making that happen.